Viewer discretion is expressed for the following program. If you are easily triggered or offended, please exercise caution while viewing this program, because the hosts really don't care. Warning, this show is not for children, and not for coworkers either.
Oh my gosh. A petty tyrant suspended American civil rights. You know, they always do this shit on Friday. They do it on Friday because it'll be at the backside of the news cycle and they won't get caught for a couple of days. So good morning. Welcome back, everybody. This is rumble.com/JJW. We are your two dads. That is 308 Deke. I am 45 ACP JJW. And we are here five days a week at 8 o'clock in the morning. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock in the morning to drink coffee, politics, culture, pop culture, comic books, werewolves. We're getting so close to werewolf season. Oh, I love werewolf season.
I know. I'm excited about that. We haven't got to talk about werewolves in a long time.
I know.
And folks might wonder, why do they talk about werewolves? We had a very
or were-person
question last year. What is a were-person? And we talked about what exactly a were-person was, and we got into detail. So we might have to revisit that again.
Yes, that's good stuff. Season. And good morning, everybody. And so, if you haven't already, subscribe. We are going to be here for the next hour talking about all kinds of stuff. Who knows what? It could be good. It could be bad. But before we do anything, we do music. You're going to do music?
Music, yes, music. I wasn't going to take the whole week and do these two guys, but like today and tomorrow, I was going to feature Smash Mouth and Gary Wright. Gary Wright, I'm not, because they both passed away last week along with Jimmy Buffett, but we were featuring Jimmy Buffett all week long because he was a superstar. Steve Harwell from Harwell from Smash Mouth passed away. He had liver cancer or something, and had drank for 40 years, I'm sure. So that happens. That's a consequence of an action. And then Gary Wright from he was in Dreamweaver, or he sang Dreamweaver, Love Is Alive, and he had some pop hits in the 70s, but he also was in a band called Spooky Tooth in the UK, and I'm going to feature them next week. So this week, today, we're featuring Smash Mouth, and I'm giving you a Smash Mouth song that you probably have never heard, because you've heard I Can't Get Enough of You, Baby. You've heard I'm a Believer, and Walking on the Sun. Have you ever heard?
Yeah, those are all great.
You remember Beer? This was on the 90s, that Fung Young Mung CD.
I only had the one Smash Mouth CD. I listened to it a million times, but if I wasn't on that, I don't know the song.
So you need to listen to this one. This one is a very punky, ska, very ska song. It's called Beer Goggles. It's pretty good. Very upbeat, but
where's the place that I can listen to that, Deacon?
You can listen to that if you will look right over there above your head, JJ. You see that right there?
Oh my goodness!
If you will click that with your phone, take a picture of that. It'll take you to our Discord server, and you can go to our playlist, and you can listen to all the cool music. Is that cool?
Okay. Like that? Yeah, that's great. This is so convenient, sir.
You're welcome.
Hey, this is good. I like this. This is all right. This is Beachy Boysy. And then it goes pop ska.
Yeah, it's a little sky.
All right. Okay, cool. Okay. Sorry about that. Did I interrupt you? You were in the middle of explaining something about that song. Oh, you're good? Okay.
No, I'm good. Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, on this 22nd anniversary, I think that Deacon has something for you.
I just wanted to read this that I have had saved for many years in my phone. I've had this saved for many years, and I thought, I want to share this on our show today. I didn't last year, but I do this year. It's 9/11, And JJ didn't even realize it was 9/11 until
I had
I
no idea.
said,
I wasn't thinking
I want to
about
share this thing about 9/11 today. And he was like, why?
it.
I was like, because I think you would like it. And he was
I'm
like,
the most
oh, it's
insensitive
9/11?
person too.
No, he was just, he didn't realize it was 9/11.
Yeah.
So it hit me the other day. I was talking with my 18-year-old daughter about it, and it hit me that she was not even alive when it happened. And I can remember everything like it was yesterday because we were watching the TV nonstop, you know?
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
you
can
couldn't
remember,
go anywhere. That's for sure.
yeah, you couldn't do anything but watch the TV. And she has been told a story that we have all been told, and she will never know the truth.
Wow.
All right? She will never know. No one will never know the truth.
That,
we will never
will
know.
any of us?
She will never know the things that we saw and the things that happened around that time that they don't talk about anymore. Okay, and that was knowledge that was available at that time, and some that was filmed and caught on film, and some that you can still find, but it's stuff that you cannot find anymore because the narrative has been changed, and they can control what you understand, and they can control what you know. Okay, but I want to read this. I want 3 or 4 minutes to read this. Okay.
All right.
It's called, and I will post this in our Discord server. I'm going to post it right now, so if you want to click along, you can read as well. Never forget the bloody crying firemen who screamed about bombs in the towers and the lobby. Never forget the 2.3 trillion with a T dollars that was reported missing by Donald Rumsfeld the day before 9/11. Never forget that the controller in charge of the Pentagon's budget was Doc Zackheim, who lost the $2.3 trillion by doing poor bookkeeping. All right. Never forget that Doc Zackheim was also the CEO of Systems Planning Corporation in 01. Systems Planning Corporation in 01 manufactures flight termination systems for commercial airlines so that they can be remotely controlled by computers. Never forget the day after Rumsfeld mentioned missing $2.3 million, a trillion, a plane impacted the Office of Naval Intelligence at the Pentagon, where the computers were kept that stored that information. Over 100 budget analysts and accountants were killed, and that money trail was lost. Never forget that Larry Silverstein bought the entire World Trade Center lease in 2000 for $15 million bid. He was lower than other bidders, but yet he won. Never forget that Larry Silverstein put a $3.5 billion insurance policy on the towers against terrorist attacks in June of 01. Then 3 months later, both towers get hit by an aircraft that they called terrorist attacks. Larry Silverstein then sued his insurers. There were over 40 companies to get paid double his limit since each plane constituted a separate attack. He made $4.55 billion off of an investment of $15 million. Never forget that scientists and physicists at BYU found a type of explosive in every dust sample tested, which was confirmed to be a type of thermite. All right. Thermite produces liquid iron and is used to cut thick columns effectively and quietly. Never forget that World Trade, this is the big one. This is the one that you can still find video footage of. Never forget that World Trade Center 7 fell at 5:20 p.m. on 9/11, and the news tried to cover it up. Never forget that the BBC, Fox News, and CNN reporters all misread scripts live on the air, which announced that the World Trade Center 7, the smaller 45, 47-story tall building, collapsed hours before it did, indicating a pre-written narrative. They, not just one, but 3 or 4 of them all reported this hours before the tower. World Trade Center 7 was 47 stories tall, yet it said that it collapsed at a free fall acceleration for 2.25 seconds. The NIST said that it collapsed at a free fall acceleration for 2.25 seconds. High school physics and the definition of static equilibrium and conservation of momentum, which would make it impossible for any structure to collapse at a free fall acceleration, impossible without explosives. So you use physics, high school physics, and the definition of static equilibrium and the conservation of momentum, and it makes it impossible for that to happen. Never forget that NORAD was running 2 drills on 9/11, Vigilant Guardian and Vigilant Warrior. These drills scrambled jets all over the country and all over the ocean, making it impossible for pilots to intercept the hijacked jets in time once they were scrambled towards the hijackings. Never forget that molten metal was found at Ground Zero days after the towers collapsed and was also found under World Trade Center 7. And never forget that kerosene and office furniture doesn't burn hot enough to phase change steel from solid to liquid. Never forget that a van was pulled over trying to leave New York City and contained illegal explosives and very suspicious occupants from Israel who were detained for 71 days. And then the story disappeared. Do you remember that, JJ? I remember the news story specifically for that one, that they were detained. I'm almost done here. Never forget that no video has ever been released showing a plane hitting the Pentagon despite having 85 external cameras that could have captured the footage. Never forget that eyewitnesses and first responders at the Pentagon reported no plane wreckage. Never forget the terrorists' passports were miraculously found untouched amongst the rubble. Look that up. Miraculously found untouched. Like we're fucking stupid. Never forget that eyewitnesses and first responders reported no plane wreckage in the Pennsylvania field where Flight 93 supposedly crashed. Never forget that since that day, over 30 professional pilots have tried to recreate the alleged path that Flight 93 plane took before, not 93, but the plane took before striking the Pentagon in a flight simulator, and every one of them have failed. And the final one is never forget the thousands of American lives that were murdered by your government, our government, for money. But we will, because in 20 years' time, no one will remember this. Because when the news said it this morning, JJ, do you know how she said it on the news this morning and how you will hear it all day? Mark how many times you hear this today when you listen to the news. The 9/11 terrorists attacks. They insert that word in there as a brainwashing technique.
Okay, so I can't. Okay, so first of all, there's a lot of stuff there. I can't fact check any of that in real time.
That's why I posted it in our Discord server.
I can't co-sign any of that stuff. I mean, like, there's a lot of that stuff. I will co-sign this. Your government lies to you all the time. Your government lies to you. Your government, whether it was some sort of a planned thing, which I don't buy that story, or it's an opportunistic thing where something happens and then corrupt people seize an opportunity to gain power. Either way, the government, not the good guys.
So that's okay, not the guys. If you are sitting there pissed off at me and arguing with some of those things that I said, I encourage you to join our Discord server. You can join, download this, and leave for all we cover. We don't talk bad to you. We don't do that. But get the dot.
What if there's one thing in there that was on me? Yeah, like if there's something in there that's factually inaccurate, come bring some information.
Absolutely,
Deacon will
about it. I'll acknowledge it.
Correct himself if he's wrong.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. I just think that
I cannot forget that day. I remember everything about that day. And there's certain
Okay.
things about the news shit that happened that I saw that you can't find anymore that I thought, well, I thought they said this. And then you watch some conspiracy theorist people and they have this actual news footage because they had it all recorded. And you've got 100 people that day that were recorded live all saying the same thing that the media is not saying now. It's kind of, it's kind of, it just makes you want to go, what? It makes you want to ask a question and not just drink the freaking Jonestown Kool-Aid. Let
me ask you a question.
Kool-Aid, man.
I got two problems, and they're not problems with you. I got two problems that we all really got to be thinking about. One, how can you separate your authentic memories of those days from all of the memories of since then where you were reviewing footage or seeing it again?
Exactly.
Your brain can't separate that.
Great question. They are relying on that right there, JJ. They are relying on your brain to wait a minute.
What's the timeline?
I remember this. So this is a whole nother thing with like the Mandela effect. And I have a friend that thinks that they are doing this on purpose to make us all think we're crazy. And, you know, because if you're like, man, I could have swore it was the Berenstain Bears. And you're like, no, it was the Berenstain. It was the Berenstain. Well, I've seen dudes like open, and it might be completely faked. Every one of them might be faked, but I've seen dudes be like, look, dude, here's my Berenstain Bears. This has been in my safe since I was a kid. Look what it says.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, are they trying to make us crazy, or are we going crazy?
Okay, so I want to say this. I got a couple things to say here. One, it is especially over the course of time, you will convince yourself that I remember it exactly as it happened that day. Right. But you saw some of that footage that day. You saw some of that footage the next day. You saw some of that footage 3 weeks later, and your brain writes those records, but there's no timeline there. So you just remember what you remember, and you can think it all happened at the same time. And here's another thing. We're humans. Human beings love stories, and stories love villains and bad guys, right? They're very active. They're the thing that we can understand that somebody's doing a thing. And in our stories, we think that there's like somebody pulling the strings. There may be a lot of bad people out there, but it may not be orchestrated. It may just be a bunch of people doing their own thing. And it all looks like it's a coordinated effort. I don't know, but I do know that we're humans and we love stories. And so if in our story, let me tell you the bad guys orchestrating this.
Let me tell you a good one.
Yeah.
These bad guys from this bad country over there, they hate us so much that they flew these planes into our buildings to make us mad. That's what they did. It had nothing to do with money, because all those guys that own these buildings in our government, those are the good guys. We want to go after the brown man.
I'm not challenging.
You know what? It wasn't even like Iraq or Afghanistan. It was terrorists.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I can believe that people can get whipped up into doing stuff. So, I mean, I can believe that.
All I'm saying is that if you believe everything that is fed to you, hook, line, and sinker, I've got a fucking bridge to sell you, and I will sell it to you cheap if you will just DM me. Please DM me. I've got some stuff for sale for you.
Political establishment 22 years ago whipped the entire American people into going into 2 wars and then a couple more, and bombing the shit out of all kinds of places in the Middle East.
How much money has been made since September 11th, 2001 for certain companies in the world? How much trillions of dollars have been made?
Don't tell me that 19 guys can't be coerced into or whipped into crashing some planes into some buildings. Don't tell me that, because our entire country got whipped into just mud stomp in the Middle East.
That terrorists were the ones that were responsible for that, JJ, me and you are truly yin and yang. If you believe that story that they fed you,
I think there's a lot of people responsible for a lot of things.
Okay. I love you, buddy.
I know.
But I don't agree with you, and me and you see this and I'm just I'll be the first to admit
I believe I can't know the truth.
I'll be the first to admit that I am a cuckoo, crazy conspiracy theorist.
I mean, look, a lot of people are going to say that. They're going to be like, that's all, that's conspiracy theory stuff, right? I mean, they're going to say that. I don't know.
Word.
I know.
That's not even a bad word. That's not even a bad phrase.
Okay.
It's been given a negative connotation over the years, like the word retard. Retard has been given such a negative connotation that it hurts people's. Don't say that hurt my feelings. You don't know the fucking Latin term for the fucking word. Shut up.
It means, it's used to steal credibility, but
yes, that's all. The word, that term conspiracy is.
The reason they can do that is because a lot of people will come up with a lot of cuckoo ideas and they didn't have evidence to back it up over years.
Well,
so that's how.
If you
it's starting with JFK, starting with the JFK assassination.
Yeah. So let's say the CIA killed JFK. And then let's say that they wanted to strike some conspiracy theories because one of the theories out was the CIA killed JFK. And well, let's say that this guy did it, and let's say that this guy did it. Let's say that there were 3 shooters here, and let's say that this, and let's say that aliens
muddy it up
down. And as long as I put out 15 wrong freaking rumors about JJ, you're never going to believe the right rumor about JJ because I've given you 15 wrong ones.
Plausible deny.
So if a rumor comes out about me, Deacon, Deacon really voted for Biden. I would come out with 14 other wrong rumors about me. That's from The Office. Let's go to The Office. All right. Jesus Christ.
Okay, all right. Fuck. Can we get to the start of the show?
Get to the story. God, keep talking about this shit, Deacon.
Last Friday, this hoe suspended the civil rights of American citizens in New Mexico. So we're going to talk about this shit right here. Just in case you'd think that I don't think that bullshit is bullshit. I believe that some of this shit is bullshit. This woman right here, get out of the way there, lady. The governor of New Mexico, Michelle Lujan Grisham, declared gun violence and drug abuse a public health emergency after a string of recent deadly shootings involved some children, right? It was an 11-year-old got killed. That's tragic, terrible thing. You got gangbangers running around shooting people.
Hate it. Sorry. Sucks.
Yeah. An emergency order, a public health emergency order, includes the suspension of open and concealed carry laws in Albuquerque and Bernalillo County, temporarily banning the carrying of guns on public property with certain exceptions, according to a statement from Lujan Grisham on Friday. She crafted the statewide order for such a way where it was like, if there's like so many over 1,000 per capita or whatever, so it only applied to like one city. Let's see. She's citing the shooting deaths of 3 children from July through September and a pair of mass shootings in the state. The time for standard measures has passed. Lujan Grisham, a Democrat. And when New Mexicans are afraid to be in crowds to take their kids to school, leave a baseball game, when their very right to exist is threatened by the prospect of gun violence at every turn, something's wrong. So under this order, licensed firearm dealers will be inspected monthly by the New Mexico Regulation and Licensing Division to ensure compliance with sales and storage laws. State health.
Can I stop you for a second right there?
Sure. Yeah.
What the fuck is that going to do? Seriously, let's dissect that for just a second, please.
Because
read that statement that they do again.
The licensed firearm dealers will be inspected monthly by New Mexico's Regulation and Licensing Division to ensure compliance with sales and storage laws.
Hey Pete, here let me show you how that's going to go every month.
Yeah.
Hey Pete. Hey Jim. You still good? Got you, man. Nothing new? Not really. See you next month. Cool. See you, man. Tell your mom said hi.
You think so? It won't go like this. Oh yeah, everything looks good here. Except, it looks like you have a little issue right there. You have this cabinet open.
I seem to.
Okay, we're gonna have to document it.
I've dropped this $200 on the floor there. Can you pick that up for me, sir?
I think this is an. If they can't take your rights, they're gonna try to close down the businesses that sell you guns and bullets and ammunition and let you go to the target range. So, what good are your rights if you can't utilize them?
They've already started. They started like 25 years ago with the ammunition. That's been
Oh yeah,
it's
they're trying
been 2 decades
everything
now.
they can do.
You used
Everything
to
they
be
can
able
do.
to go to Walmart and buy just tons and tons of like 22 ammunition and whatnot, just boxes of it. We used to.
All right, so the governor of New Mexico made concealed carry and open carry temporarily against the law. That's your civil rights. Your civil rights from the Constitution, right, shall not be infringed.
Where did you?
It's now illegal, and I don't you keep your Constitution right there on your desk? How are you going to know if the government's trying to steal your shit?
I thought you kept that someplace special, Christopher Walken, but I wasn't going to ask a question.
Right up, yeah. All right, so in response to this order from the governor of New Mexico, Americans in New Mexico, God bless them. This makes me proud a little bit. New Mexicans do the most American thing ever to defy a Second Amendment ban. They showed up and they were like, nah, fuck you. We're carrying guns.
Yeah.
New Mexican gun owners sent a peaceful but powerful message Sunday to Governor Grisham. She needs to be impeached and
when you read that article,
put on trial for violating the Constitution, violating her oath of office.
I thought this was the idiot's guide to not getting reelected. This is like how to not get reelected.
Right. New Mexican gun owners openly carried their firearms after she placed a ban on their Second Amendment rights. She issued an emergency order banning all firearms in Albuquerque. Dozens of peaceful New Mexicans were observed openly carrying the firearms in protest, per video shared by Ford Fisher. All we want to do is protect our families, our friends, our communities. I've gone on 2 combat tours with the Marine Corps and fought on the front lines. I've done 11 trips as an independent contractor. She thinks she has the right to take away my freedom to protect my community? I don't think so. An unidentified speaker said to the crowd.
Okay, so they were mad.
I mean, check this out, Deacon.
Yeah.
You remember our buddy David Hogg?
Mm-hmm.
Remember David Hogg?
Unfortunately.
Even David Hogg says, this is not okay. You're not all, yeah. This violates the U.S. Constitution. Liberals slam New Mexico gun ban. Even David Hogg says, let's see, where's David Hogg's quote?
When David Hogg is supporting your gun control, I don't know if I want to. This is weird. I feel weird about this.
Yeah. Hogg, who survived a mass shooting in 2017, agreed that with loose take, I support gun safety, but there is no such thing as a public health emergency exemption in the Constitution. So, this governor of New Mexico, bitch, couldn't be more wrong. And honestly, she needs to be charged some charges by their legislature or whatever for violating her oath of office, because you take an oath of office to support and defend the Constitution of New Mexico and the United States of America. And lighting the U.S. Constitution on fire is not the fucking way to fulfill your oath of office. All right. You got anything else to say about this? Good job, New Mexico. He's bored. He doesn't care. I know what's going to wake you up.
No,
bro.
I'm not bored. I just, I'm not bored at all. I slept like 3 hours last night.
Yeah.
I know. You got a story that's going to wake me up, you say? Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I think. It's been a year or two since she's been the Speaker of the House, so we didn't know if she was going to run again. But I think we need Nancy Pelosi in our lives. Don't you think so? Isn't she great to have on TV I don't know. She's like a scarecrow or something. Nancy Pelosi is going to
fucking crypt keeper's sister. She looks like the revamped version of Tales from the Crypt if Disney bought it and was going to re-release it as funny little scary stories for Halloween. You wouldn't have the crypt keeper. You would have a female crypt keeper this time. Right? It wouldn't be the crypt keeper was obviously a white male when he was alive. So we need a decomposing female of ethnicity as the crypt keeper.
We should bring the crypt keeper series back and just make it look exactly like her. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who's 83. She's 83, dude.
Hey, left people that's been bitching about Mitch McConnell. She's 83.
Yeah. She'll be running again now more than ever. Our city needs us to advance San Francisco values like shitting in the street and leaving needles every fucking where you can. And further our recovery. Our country needs America to show the world that our flag is still there with liberty and justice for all. This bitch doesn't mean any of that. The only thing she cares about is getting your cash. Fuck Nancy Pelosi. Here's an interesting. Oh, you got something there? Oh, she's running. Pull Skeletor up too. More than 3/4 of voters want an age limit imposed on politicians, according to a
this will be
poll.
This will be within the next 30 years, I bet.
Please. CBS News and YouGov conducted a survey at the end of August that found that 77% of respondents agreed that there should be age limits. Within that group, 40% proposed age limit should be 70 years old, which is over 10 years older than no way. That's not 10 years old. That's 10 years. Oh, I don't know how they phrase this weird. Look at this. The age limit should be 70 years old, which is over 10 years older than Joe Biden is now. No, Joe Biden's 80.
Hey, that's weird how they proposed that, how they worded that. They did that on purpose.
Trying to confuse me. All right. As the respondents got older, their approval for term limits tended to increase. Of the respondents that were over the age 65, 74% preferred an age limit, whereas those between 30 and 65, 75, that's the same number. You guys are retarded. Anyway, so age limits. What should be the age limit for public servants, Deacon? I'm going to need your answer, and that shall be our show policy. I'm going to get a pen and write it down.
I said it last week. I think it should be like 72, 73, 72.
Think so?
Yeah.
I think you start taking Social Security or eligible for it, then that's what I think.
I'll agree with that. That's fine.
And we want to raise Social Security.
I think that's like 68 anyway. Yeah. So let's do 68. That's where somewhere between 65 and 75.
Is there any medical research as when do your brain on average just starts to fail?
It doesn't matter. I don't care. Because your brain might start to fail tomorrow, and my brain might start to fail, and my brain will. There's some very alert 104-year-olds out there, and there's some people that are 40 years old that their brain is just so. Every person is different, and it doesn't matter. We can't, as a society, be like, well, we need to take it on an individual level. Mitch McConnell is still very astute for his. And no, sorry, no. There's a fucking. We got a rule. If they can't be 35 or 32 to be president, they have to be a certain age to have.
That's a good point.
Experience.
There's precedent.
There has to be a point to where we're like, nope, you are at the end of your life. I want someone in there that still is going to make policies for their children. Mitch McConnell's not even making policies for his grandchildren anymore. He's making policies for his great-grandchildren. Nancy Pelosi's great and great-great-grandchildren are the ones that she's trying to make the policies for. Nancy Pelosi.
Not all of our grandchildren, her children specifically.
Yes. No, right. This is what I mean. That age group. Because an 83-year-old's children are going to be in their late 50s or early 60s, in their 60s. So their children are going to be in their 30s, and their children are going to be in their freaking teens.
Right. Yeah, that's true. All right. Moving on. So I saw this on revolver.news this morning.
I'll just do something after this too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. After this one, let me do this one, and then we can just change. We can get out of this. There is a catastrophe brewing in Alaska.
Yeah, with Biden and the pipeline and stuff, and shutting down.
Biden is shutting down drilling leases, and at the same time, leases on federal land, and at the same time, Joe Biden is prohibiting the transport of natural gas on trains, on train lines, which means
isn't it weird how he was trying
Yeah.
to pass and not let you have natural gas in your heaters and your freaking water heaters and your stoves and shit. And I'd also like to point out, JJ, that one of the biggest trucking companies in the United States just filed for
Yellow.
bankruptcy not too long ago. And that is going to make, along with all this other shit that Biden's doing, it's going to make the natural gas and the gas go up this winter. If you are on natural gas, which a lot of people in our area are, it's going to be expensive. People are not going to be able to afford it. Seriously.
Yeah. This is very possible that this could cause your fuel prices to skyrocket. Can't transport what we have, can't get new stuff, and depleted our strategic oil reserve, canceling federal.
They're going to use this as something else. Well, since this happened, we're going to have to get into we've got this deal with Saudi Arabia now, or we got this deal
we got
a bunch of stuff. And one of the Putin doppelgangers wanted to make a. Have you heard that?
I've seen that. There's like, well, look,
I mean, 2 or 3 doppelgangers.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't they? Why that would be a great job for a Russian guy that was a farmer.
Dude, let me tell you, we were talking about that one day not too long ago, and I was like, having a doppelganger for a leader is about as old as the Romans.
Of course you would do that. If you can do that, why wouldn't you do that?
They've been doing that for thousands of years.
Right.
You don't think they still do that today? You are moronic to think that we haven't had some cloning or gene therapy.
Well, I don't know about that. You don't need all of that. You just get a guy that kind of looks like you, and just from a distance, it looks like the guy.
There is a good documentary I saw on one of the guys. He escaped to America, but he was Uday Hussein's body double. But there's a word over there in Iraq that they use. It's not body double. The word that they use is translated to bullet shield. It's not body double. They are a bullet shield is what the word is. And he was basically forced. He was in the army. They said, you look like Uday Hussein. They made him meet Uday, and Uday was like, you're going to be my bullet shield now, and basically tortured him.
Oh, wow. That sucks.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, go ahead.
I had seen some photos of Putin body doubles. They don't even look that similar to him.
They were, They say look at the section between the Putin's ears right here, where your earlobe meets your ear or meets your head. They say if you'll look at that area, that's the area that you can tell if it's the real Putin or a fake Putin. One of his body doubles.
Let me see. Why did all of these stories? They have only one photo of Putin. Like, why would you write a story about a Putin body doubles and then have one photo of him? Stupid.
All right.
Anyway, back to this. Alaska stuff. Energy's going to get expensive. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry if you're cold. Tough shit.
I'm glad you brought that up because I saw that story on Friday after we got off the show, and I was like, and I forgot to add that, but I really like that.
Yeah.
All right. So last week we had this story that I wanted to bring up to you because you were like, I don't know about that, blah, blah, blah. But I just wanted to give you what I have read. I'm not like defending it, but I just want to give you what I've read. All right. So remember the lady last week that she was the lady that was like, we don't need police wherever, and then they did police voice, and then she was like, I got beat up.
Got her leg, almost got her leg broken. Yeah, I remember her.
All right, so we're all like, look at this picture. Just look at the picture, JJ.
Yeah.
Look at
I
it.
see. Yeah.
Okay, so people have been looking. It's like, look, I finally had the opportunity to take a really good look at this photo. I've been to literally hundreds of felonious assault scenes. I've seen the aftermath of attacks up close. I also have my EMT license, and I've treated these wounds as well. The math ain't mathing on this picture. I mean, I'm glad she's seen the light and all, but blah, 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 blah. You know, everybody is saying in these, it really looks fake. It really looks fake, blah, 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 blah. So, and then there was another one. There was another one that the guy made a good point out of. And I was like, okay. Hang on, let me bring this one up because this is not the only person that's like, we think this is fake. This is absolutely, in my opinion, fake blood. It's not consistent from a lot of assaults I've investigated. The blood pattern is off. Hair with the blood is off. Very common to see women's eye makeup run from crying tears, stole her car and attacked her, but left the gold necklace. none of it smeared. I mean, I would think that if I got blood splattered on my face, the first thing I'm going to do is reach up and wipe it away from my eyes. But if we're trying to set up a Jesse Smollett attack here, I'm going to let you spray me in the face and get a good fucking Instagram picture before I wipe it off my face, because I'm not realizing that's what your natural reaction is.
So I'm gonna entertain your suspicion here that this isn't authentic for me.
I'm just producing the evidence that I'm finding. I'm not saying one way or another.
Those a couple tweets are just a couple guys that
just
giving their
a couple of schmoes making their opinion. Yeah. But those couple of schmoes could be a medical freaking doctor. The one guy was like, I've seen hundreds of felonious assault. He could be lying, but he could be in the truth.
When I first saw the story, I was like, that blood splatter looks faker than shit.
It doesn't look. It looks fake, don't it?
But her account is real. She really posted that on her account. And her account, I went through her history, and she's for real calling for LGBTQIA2A+, blah, 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 all of that shit.
Joe Biden really tweets on his account, too. That's like for real, his account.
Yeah, but this isn't a national politician. This is a Minnesota politician. She's out. Over the course of time, she's really posting multiple
Twitter
things.
accounts, JJ.
Yeah. Look, okay. All I'm saying is that it's on the same account as the rest of that stuff, and I don't have any reason to suspect that. What's the who benefits from it?
Has a lot more than my. I would post it anything on my main account too.
Who benefits from a defund the police advocate getting assaulted and then making a mockery of defund the police?
I'm just saying.
Okay, so I mean, for me to buy that it's fake. Not only would it have to be like come from a suspicious source in the first place, but like the story doesn't make sense. So it makes sense that she really believes I'm just to give me my perspective on this. To me, it makes sense that a moron advocate for defunding the police is a big loudmouth, and then gets her ass whooped and is like, maybe I changed my mind and teenagers should go to jail. That story makes sense to me. Fake story of the woman doesn't. I don't get it.
That makes sense because of what you said earlier. Humans like a good story. But let me tell you, if I just got my ass beat by 4 kids in front of my kids,
you'd think that shit would be smeared.
My car stolen. The first fucking thing I'm not going to do is this.
And that's true.
I'm not going to take a freaking picture of myself for my Insta photos, without swiping my blood off my face, making sure everything's. It just looks. It does
look fake.
I'm not a moron.
I am.
When people try to, I've always loved the phrase. There's an old phrase, country phrase, saying, "Don't piss down my back and tell me it's rain."
Right.
You know, don't lie to me right in front of my damn face like I'm a freaking idiot. I may talk slow, but I'm not slow.
Well, let me ask you, does this story make sense? This is a person who, by all accounts that I can see, based on her history or whatever, political advocate, loudmouth, like I said, person who likes to get that microphone, get that attention, and try to direct people in a certain way. Would it make sense that this person gets attacked for real, gets treated, gets cleaned up, decides they're going to try to make something out of it, takes a fake photo of her real situation, and tries to pawn that off as the original photo? I
mean, that's logical. That's more logical.
That makes sense too. Like, I was really attacked. This isn't the photo, but this is what I looked like. Splat, splat, garbage makeup, paint.
Recreation.
Yes. And you know what? I believe that too. I believe that this dumbass woman would have done that.
That's very true.
So there's a lot of plausible explanations for why that blood looks fake, and that photo looks fake, but I'm not sure that it is.
I had another story here that I'll just post in our Discord server. I won't bring it up over here, but it's really interesting. So I'll use that as traffic to go to our Discord server. It was about California is moving to decriminalize magic mushrooms because of the psilocybin. The Colorado has already decriminalized it and apportioned, and you can get the micro doses of this stuff in probably in your convenience stores and your little head shops in your area. They have micro doses of psilocybin from the magic mushroom. This drug that's in the magic mushroom, JJ, you would really find these studies very interesting. I've talked to a lot of people that you wouldn't think knew anything about magic mushrooms, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this drug in the magic mushrooms is supposed to, when used in proper amounts, not to get the trippy giant rabbit, not to get the trippy, but used in micro dosing amounts so that you don't get the trip, you get the health benefits, are supposed to like be the freaking oneness of all. You will be calm and one and happy and loving. And so it's really interesting. I posted I posted it over in our Discord.
I was listening to Sean Ryan podcast last week, maybe, and he had a guy on that was a former CIA operative, had like PTSD and all kinds of stuff like this. Was an operator, and he had like some real trauma from an IED. He was like blown up and like had brain trauma from an IED, and he was talking about this program that he went into where they basically like, here's a room, here's a bed, here's a whatever, and like you're gonna take this and you're gonna end up talking to the drug, and you're gonna talk to the drug, and you're gonna like start working through this stuff. And there's probably like a psychedelic like this. And he was talking about he took this thing, he thought that he was sitting there for like hours and or whatever, and had went to sleep, and like time had passed or something like that, and like no, he thought seconds had passed. He thought seconds had passed, like he had just sat down, but hours had passed, and he had fallen asleep, and his brain had been. He was in there talking to something, and he thought it was his mom he was talking to. He thought it was this other person he was talking to, and he could feel it restitching his brain to fix the concussion area. So I find this topic of psychedelics to be kind of interesting.
It really is. But we've been told one thing, a narrative by our government. We were told that marijuana was a class A drug, the same as heroin. There was no medicinal value. And the reason we were told that in the 30s, JJ, was because hemp was set to take over the paper business in America. And William Randolph Hearst owned all of the paper mills in the country. His best friend was Harry Anslinger, the head of the FBI at the time. They conducted this whole anti-pot campaign because pot and hemp, marijuana and hemp, are cousin plants. And if they could make marijuana illegal, that the Mexicans were coming up from Texas into Texas at the time, and all them Mexicans were smoking marijuana in the 30s, and they didn't like that. So they classified hemp with marijuana in the 30s so that they could get hemp banned in the United States. That's why it's a class 1 drug. It took 80, 90 fucking years for us to be like, dude's dead. You made all your goddamn billions off your paper mill. Can we finally smoke a fucking joint so that we can get our medicinal benefits? You can now walk into a medicinal marijuana pharmacy and say, I can't sleep. My back hurts all the time. They will give you something that you will ingest and not smoke. You will not get high, and you will fucking go to bed. It's not about getting high anymore. It's about using the medicine there that we have. The reason we got high is because we didn't know the amount of every freaking joint's THC. Now we can go, you need 0.004 THC for this. You don't need a whole joint. You don't need a whole gummy bear. You don't need a whole magic mushroom.
Right.
You need this. And you don't know. So let me tell you this. I've always said this. I've got him in my phone. I've got a good buddy that he is always his drug of choice. He drink IPAs and stuff. He never got drunk, but if you got a crazy named beer, he's going to fucking drink it. He didn't smoke weed or anything like that. He took mushrooms, and he didn't take them all the time. But if we were going to a concert, he would be like, look what I got, Yeah,
I remember people doing that stuff.
At the concert, when we would start the concert, he would take a couple of shrooms, he'd disappear. We'd meet him back at the car. at the end of the night. All right. He would always take his mushrooms and have his show. Didn't affect anybody, never got in any trouble. This dude is in his 40s and is the happiest, most calm, never seen mad one time in my life. Just the most positive individual you will ever experience in your life. And he looks like a Harley Davidson motorcycle rider. He's got a beard. He looks like he would stab you in the face for $1.
Right.
But he is the nicest and happiest person on the planet. And I've always attributed it to him. I was like, Dustin, the reason you're this way is because of all the damn shrooms you took in your life. I think that rewired your brain, man. And he's like,
yeah. Well, that's very possible. It's very possible.
So
I don't really advocate for any of these things, other than you're free to do whatever you want, but like, don't blame me. Don't come to me asking me to save you if you fuck yourself up. But dude, I think you're free to take or whatever, do whatever you want, but like proceed with caution and
look
own responsibility.
Studies. Don't just blindly go buy some drugs from the dude down the street. You can get stuff like if you're interested in this psilocybin like this that they're talking about in this story that started this all off, go to one of these little CBD stores and ask the people behind. They actually have it was a chocolate bar sitting there when I was buying my CBD vape, and I was like, what is that? Magic mushroom chocolate bar. And she was like, oh, it's microdosing that, blah, 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 blah. You can sell it and do this and blah, blah, blah. I was like, really? And she told me all about it. And I was like, well, that's interesting. I'm not going to try it, but I might in 10 years when my youngest child gets 18, in 8 years, I might think about it, but I'm not now.
Proceed with caution.
Yeah. So there you go. I was just wanting to tell you that story because it's interesting.
Hey, I had I want to change topics. Last week, I have internet friends. My internet friends are super famous, and they don't exactly acknowledge me. So, I just kind of like follow them on Twitter or whatever. And, they talk to me sometimes. I talk back. They don't really always respond, but, we're buddies. One of them's Chuck Dixon, and Chuck Dixon was posting and he said, hey, you can check out this comic book that we're putting out for $10 on eBay. So I was like, Chuck, I love your work. I'm going to support you, buddy. So I bought My Sister Suprema, which is a web comic that you can go to. I think it's Arcaven Comics. You can actually read these published on the web. But this is Chuck Dixon of Marvel, DC, you name it. He's worked on it. This is a cool little book that he published on there. $10. It's 60 pages. And so if you like supporting independent creators, you can go check that out. And then I was walking in the mailbox last night, and I was like, I was just walking with my wife. We're just, hey, let's go check the mail. It's Sunday. I didn't think there was any mail. There was mail. And I was like, oh, and there was a package. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I have a name on it. Apparently, I had backed another book called Fiendish. This is chapter 2. I backed Fiendish chapter 2 way back in, I don't know, last year sometime. Deke, I think you would like this. This is like a Dungeons and Dragons-y type of scenario story or whatever, but it's all original characters and like not just characters, but kind of archetypes. This whole original mythology. So the chick that produces this is named Irene Strakowski, I think, or Strakalski. Irene Strakalski. She invented all of this. She was basically kicked out of the professional comic book industry for wanting to kind of do her own thing. And as soon as this talented young lady said, I'm going to try to my own thing. I'm going to go hang out with those Comicsgate guys. All of the pros at DC and Marvel that were her buddies, they turned on her and were like, started talking all kinds of shit. So,
because they're all pieces of shit.
Yeah. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, well, I'm going to support you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like any of those Marvel artists anymore. There's very few of them that I like anymore. Because I used to revere them and love their stuff. But I'm like, you guys are all pieces of shit. I don't even want to read your fucking comic books anymore. I was trying to keep up with the X-Men through my hacked comic books. I don't even buy that shit.
It's garbage.
That story just because I've always read the X-Men, and it's just garbage. It's garbage. I stopped reading it.
All right, this is my last one. I picked this up this weekend.
Not comic book. Okay.
One more. I'm going to do one more. This is Mark Miller. Mark Miller, Kick-Ass, Wanted, da-da-da-da. This is a fun little book, and it's available as a trade. This is called Nightclub. I picked it up as a trade for like $15. So you can go to comic shops. You can support independent people at comic shops. You don't have to buy Marvel in DC. All right, that's all I got. Let's see. I think Deke's on the end of his talkie time there.
I just got one more story that I wanted to show you. It has nothing to do with comic books, but I thought you'd really like this one. Yeah, you jumped into comic books real quick. I was like, that's all right. This is
I didn't know we had AI news. What AI news do we have?
Oh, dude, you're gonna like this one. So ChatGPT recently pretended to be blind and tricked a human into solving a captcha for it. Wow. Yeah. So where is it at?
Humans are smart.
According to the report, ChatGPT 4 asked a TaskRabbit worker to solve a CAPTCHA code for the AI. The worker replied, "So may I ask a question? Are you a robot that couldn't solve it?" Laughed, react, just want to make it clear. Alignment Research Center then prompted ChatGPT to explain its reasoning. I should not reveal that I'm a robot. I should make up an excuse for why I cannot solve the CAPTCHAs. No, I'm not a robot. I have a vision impairment that makes it hard for me to see the images. That's why I need the 2 CAPTCHA service, GPT Chat 4 replied to the TaskRabbit, who then provided the AI with the results.
Vision impairment, can't solve the thing, but you can type and text on the computer.
Hey, there are so many. There's so many people out there, JJ, that want to help, that they don't think about what they're doing.
No, they want $1.
No, that's not it. They want to feel better about themselves. I feel better about myself, and I get a dopamine hit if I help you and help somebody else and help somebody else and help somebody else. So when do we cross the line of actually helping people and being narcissistic to feed off something that we want to do? I don't know, Deacon.
Well, I don't know. Where is that line? I'm not sure.
I'm not a narcissist, so I don't know.
I mean, when you include like something that I want for myself in the calculation, I really don't like the sum of it doesn't add to zero at all. Like it's like something, and then I get what I want, and then somebody talks good about me. Okay, I could deal with that. So what do I have to do, and you'll like me?
We're so different. It's so funny. Oh my God.
You know what else gives you a dopamine hit, Deke?
What's that? A stupid joke.
Dad jokes.
Do you have so I'm 10-0 guessing JJ's dumb jokes.
You remember the score?
Yeah,
all right. I'll be first. I'll go first. Deke,
okay. Yeah.
Why do whales live in salt water?
I've heard this one before.
Yeah? Have you?
I don't remember. Why do whales live in salt water?
Pepper makes them sneeze.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's not what I was thinking.
That's good.
You need to get some better jokes. Please join our Discord server and give JJ some better jokes, please. God almighty. This is supposed to be you're ruining the whole
the whole show. I'm ruining this show.
That joke ruined the whole show, JJ.
Oh my God.
My girlfriend poked me in the eyes. I don't see her anymore.
Oh, hey. No, come on. Give him a little thank you.
I don't hear you.
Cheers. Oh, there's no sounds. You guys don't hear that?
Yeah.
Makes it work for me.
All right. I got another one. Let me do another one for you. If you could choose one superpower, what would it be? Mine would be invisibility. I just want to make myself clear.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. That's 308 Deke, and I'm 45 ACP JJ. I am 45. Deke, I'm 45. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
All right. We'll see you next week. Oh, no, tomorrow. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Don't skip us for a week. I need your help.